Good morning, distinguished guests, honorable speakers, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us today. For those who just arrived, welcome to Indonesia Pavilion. Today is the third day. On the second session, we're going to discuss on the international commitment, on how to mainstream or align international commitment with NDCs implementation to strengthen the national ambition. So I'll just Okay, a short context of what we're going to touch on today. So transitioning to low carbon energy is of course everyone's goal, including Indonesia's state-owned electricity enterprise or PLN. So this session we're going to learn from speakers from various entities, may it be Indonesian government, SOEs, financial institution, on how to align international commitment with Indonesia NDC commitment. And to start with, I'll hand over directly to the Executive Vice President, Energy Transition and Sustainability from PT PLN Persero, Ibu Kamia Handayani. Over to you. Thank you. I apologize for mispronounce your name. Sorry.
Okay, thank you, Bu Mona, for the introduction. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the talk show, Mainstreaming International Commitment and NDC's Implementation to Strengthen National Ambition. Please give a round of applause, all of us. Thank you. Okay, this talk show is one of the many talk shows held by the Indonesia Pavilion in COP28. For the next 80 minutes, we will have exciting presentations from some of our distinguished speakers. We hope that this session will provide interesting insight and discussion. It is my great honor to serve as the moderator to this event. Please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Maya Rani Prospita. I'm the Executive Vice President of Corporate Finance in PLN, an Indonesian state-owned electricity company. The COP28 has just begun. We have seen tens of thousands of participants from around the world. The global urgency to address climate change has compelled nations to commit ambitious goals, including Indonesia, where meeting the nationally determined contribution, or NDCs, is very important to contribute significantly to the global climate effort. Today, we will hear some presentations, some ideas from some prominent speakers across different stakeholders. Please allow me firstly to invite Mrs. Nani Hendiarti, the Deputy for Environmental and Forestry Management Coordination, coordinating Ministry of Maritime Affairs and Investment for the keynote speech. Mrs. Nani Hendiarti, the time is yours. Please give a round of applause to Ms. Nani.
Honorable Ibu DG Laksmi Dewanti, my dearest colleague from the Ministry of the Environment and Forestry, Pak Haryadi from the PLN, and all the speakers, ladies and gentlemen, very good afternoon. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. It is such an honor for me to be here and meet you all, delegates who have the same concerns and also curiosity on the matter of the paramount importance of the what actions have been done for the climate change mitigation, especially from the energy sector. Now, the IPCC has emphasized that large-scale immediate transformation is needed to keep the Paris goal in reach. Without urgent actions, warming is likely to reach 1.5 degrees Celsius as early as 2030. So we cannot postpone it. If we postpone it this until 2025 or beyond, to step up the ambition will severely constrain option for achieving the Paris goals, requiring even more rapid and costly decarbonization and make us more reliant on unproven technologies. According to the World Bank report, Indonesia's per capita emissions of the 2.3 tons CO2 equivalent that are below from the global average of the 4.5 tons CO2 equivalents, and also far below advanced economies such as Japan, 8.5 tons, and also USA, 14.7 tons. So Indonesia, as a fast-growing country, aims to become a high-income economy by the next decade. So because of this, so we have faced that increasing of the energy demands. The emission from the energy sector in Indonesia has been also increasing compared to the last 4 years. We have a comparison between 2019 until 2022. That with the number we can see in 2022 has increased compared to the last 3 years. So we have set also an Indonesia Emas 2045 vision of creating a resilient, prosperous, sustainable, and inclusive economy. So the Glasgow Climate Pact mark a crucial turning point in our global commitment to address the urgent climate crisis, particularly emphasize on the reducing coal consumption through coal phase down. The Indonesian way for the just energy transition is in line with the Glasgow Climate Pact. So we will focus on the phase down of the coal power plants, so not the phase out. So for the also the next, I think we would like to say that Indonesia commitment is reflected in the enhanced NDC. Will be explained, I think, with the Ibu DG Laksmi later on. But we would like to highlight that in this enhanced NDC, the energy sector is focusing on the renewable energy, but also in the conservation and also efficient. Yeah, in make it this more efficient. The next also we have committed to achieving net zero emission by 2060 with balance between our critical needs for energy security, affordability, and also sustainability. Since then, we have been working toward that goal and have made solid progress, such as the government has issued several policies to meet the renewable energy target. And also, the one example that we have already achieved, that we have the largest floating solar power plant in Cirata. Yeah, this is the largest in Southeast Asia, but it's located in the Cirata with the capacity 192 megawatt, and it is in UAE investment. Ladies and gentlemen, so the next, I think, after I explain about the Indonesian strategy, so we would like also to mention here that the international support on the energy transition. So we would like to highlight the Indonesian JETP is one of the concrete action in the climate finance. So it will mobilize the funding from the developed to developing country to accelerate the implementation of energy transition. We will have a special session on the JETP this late afternoon at 5:30 p.m. in this Indonesian Pavilion. There will be more discussion about this. But I would like to share to you that the effort of those renewable energy potential need commitment, the mobilizing finance through the JETP. And also this program supported by the APG, coordinated by USA and Japan, as also defense as part of the G20 Bali deliverables in November, in the last November. So I would like also to mention two things about the JETP that in I think about like 2 weeks ago, the JETP Secretariat has launched the Comprehensive Investment Plan and Policy. And this is a strategic document laying out the plan for the ambitious energy transition in Indonesia power sector with conditional upon international financial and technical support. And also we mentioned that in that document that the power sector pathway aims to keep emission on the grid system by 250 million tons. So which would require nearly 100 billion US dollar. That means this is 5 times of the commitment from JETP that we already get it about 20 billion US dollar until the next 5 years of the partnership. So therefore, from that the document we can see that we need still other collaborations effort to make it this scale up of the financing needed. And also, of course, this is for to support Indonesia in achieving ambitious energy transitions. There are still a gap in financing to support the project on the energy transition. To that, we said innovative finance. So also from the G20 Bali last year, it also mentioned and acknowledged in the leaders' declaration, one of the initiative from Indonesia named the G20 Bali Global Bandit Finance Alliance to address 3 gaps and achieve the SDGs. So we will have also the roundtable discussion today afternoon about the progress on the GBFA, the Global Blended Finance Alliance, and also we will share the activity that we will have for the next 2 or 3 years, specifically for the next year. So also, Indonesia need to develop the world-class carbon market ecosystems with domestic carbon market as a priority. So building from the current momentum that we already launched the IDX carbon to support, this can be also used to support the energy transition program. So the government of Indonesia welcome for this carbon trading from the energy sectors, and we already started with the ATS, emission trading system for the from the energy sectors. So the decarbonization program also is part of the important step that we have worked so far. So we have one example here that we would like to apply this to our coal-fired power plant by the, we call it co-firing. Yeah, this is substitute roughly about up to 10% of the coal from the biomass. So we have new regulation ministerial decree under the Ministry of the Energy and Mineral Resources. And also we have already have some MOU signing by the partner yesterday, and including also the part of the PLN program. So in my final word, so addressing these all challenges requires collaborative effort in all levels, including also international, national to local stakeholders. And the process must be as fair and also inclusive as possible. Therefore, we look forward for this initiative to bridge the gap and also to support Indonesia energy transition ambition. So thank you very much for all the collaboration. I think I saw here some colleagues that we have been working together, and then we would like to have more collaboration in the near future, specifically in the very important sector of energy sector in, I think not only in Indonesia, but I think all of the world. So thank you very much, and yeah, good afternoon to all.
Thank you so much, Ibu Nadi, for the opening. I think this is very interesting that you provide updates on the recent developments on the energy transition agenda in Indonesia. Next, I'm going to invite our second keynote speaker. She is the Director General of Climate Change Control, Ministry of Environment and Forestry of Indonesia. Please welcome Ibu Laksmi Dewanti. Ibu Laksmi, the stage is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, moderator, for the opportunity. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. May peace and Allah bless upon us. Selamat pagi, a very good morning. My dear colleagues, Ibu Nani, Deputy from the Coordinating Minister of Maritime and Investment, Bapak Evi, Director of PTPLN, distinguished speakers, guests, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, it is my privilege and honor, great pleasure as well, to welcome you all to this talk show on mainstreaming international commitment and NDC implementation to strengthen national ambition here at the Indonesia Pavilion's COP28 Dubai. I shall thank Ibu Nani to set the tone, so I will skip all the information related with the energy transition, so I might not also need to present any slides because Ibu Nani has perfectly described the situation or the condition on Indonesia as well as the policy on Indonesia just transition in energy sector. Dear colleagues, when world leaders signed the Paris Agreement on climate change 8 years ago, they pledged to keep the global temperature rise to well below 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels and to work to keep the increase as close as possible to 1.5 degrees Celsius. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, IPCC, shows that the world will probably reach the exceed 1.5 degree Celsius of warming within just next 2 decades. Only if we able to deeper our cut or to implement such an ambitious emission reduction, we then able to keep the global temperature rise to 1.5 degrees Celsius, the limit that science says is necessary to preventing the worst climate crisis. So we basically have no any other option rather than deeper our emission reduction. Climate change, however, it's not only a global challenge that does not respect national borders, but also is an issue that require global solution that need to be coordinated at the international levels, at the regional levels, at the national level, and even at the local levels. To assist countries, particularly developing countries, to move toward a low carbon economy and deeper their emission cuts. We are not only talking the climate change in the UNFCCC forum like this COP. The issue of climate change as part of the triple planetary crisis nowadays is also discussed outside the UNFCCC, including G20 as Ibu Nani mentioned, G7, ASEAN, World Economic Forum, and various international fora. So distinguished colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, as we all aware that number of parties already submitted their nationally determined contributions or NDCs and the long-term strategy for low carbon and climate resilience 2050 as mandated by the Paris Agreement. With some were addressing long-term visions such as net zero emission and carbon neutrality by mid of this century. Indonesia, through our nationally determined contribution, alongside with the long-term strategy for low carbon and climate resilience 2050, has visioned a net sink FOLU 2030 as part of its journey toward the net zero emission by 2060 or sooner. Our enhanced NDC shows Indonesia's increasing commitment through increasing greenhouse gas emission reduction targets, improving programs, strategies, and action in emission element mitigations, adaptation, transparency framework, and implementations support or means of implementation. In our long-term strategy for low carbon and climate resilience 2050, Indonesia foresees to reach the peaking of national greenhouse gas emission in 2030 with net sink in forestry and land use and other land use sector. And with further exploring opportunity, the rapidly progress toward net zero emission in 2060 or sooner through the enhanced NDC. Indonesia committed to achieve the target for reducing the greenhouse gas emission in 2030 by 31.89%, unconditional with our own target. And if Indonesia receives support, among others JETP, like Ibu Nani mentioned, the target will be increased up to 43.2% compared to business as usual. This target will only be achieved through implementing the climate change mitigations action in various sectors, including energy sector. So that's why energy sector is very important, because energy sector together with the FOLU sector are a very backbone in Indonesia's NDC and the journey toward net zero emission by 2060 or sooner. Distinguished colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, referring to Indonesia long-term strategy, under the most ambitious low carbon compatible with Paris Agreement scenario, Indonesia emphasized to reach the ambition or net zero emission by 2060 or sooner, and I believe the energy sector able to play a significant role in this target to be achieved. My dear colleagues, Ibu Nani has explained how the energy sector in Indonesia will contribute to that target. So I believe that it is the time for us not only to talk, but walk the talk. So the documents, the plan, the strategy will be able to be implemented and reach the target that we already set. Indonesia currently has started to preparing its second nationally determined contribution, as mandated by the decision of the COP21 back in Paris. The second nationally determined contribution, which will be in line with the 1.5 degrees Celsius scenario. And we hope that within the second NDC, the energy sector will increase its targets significantly. The successful implementation of NDC, especially in this energy sector, will require a lot of great contribution, collaborations, and participations from the various parties, various stakeholders. So we hope that during this COP28, because we bring many more colleagues at this COP, and the COP28 presidency has declared that this COP28 should be the most inclusive COP ever. So we have to show that by having the collaborations, a great partnership among us, we be able to achieve the target and hopefully beyond the target. Because without that, we will be, we will not be able to prevent the temperature rising by end of this decade below 1.5 degrees Celsius. So I hope our discussion will be filling up and firing up our commitment and our spirit to tackle the climate change. I thank you, wish all the best, and have a very fruitful discussion. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Ibu Laksmi, for the clear message. Ibu Laksmi, please, could you please stay on stage? And I would also like to invite Bu Nani to come on stage. We have some token of appreciation for both of our keynote speakers. Pak Haryadi, if, please may allow me to invite you to the stage to present. Okay. Now can we please have a picture together, the three of us here? Okay. There we go. Okay. Okay, thank you so much, Ibu Nani, Ibu Laksmi, for the opening. Now we are going to enter into the discussion session. Please allow me to invite Mr. Evi Haryadi, Mr. Oki Muraza, and Mr. Demetrios Papatanasio. Please come to the stage. Please give a round of applause to all of our distinguished speakers for today. Thank you very much. Welcome to all the speakers. We are going to have short presentations from the speakers because of the limited time, unfortunately, that we might only have like 5 to 10 minutes for each speakers. First, I would like to invite Mr. Haryadi. He is the Director of Transmission and System Planning at PLN Persero. He will be sharing PLN leadership in advancing decarbonization efforts in Indonesia towards net zero emissions 2060. Pak Haryadi, you have 10 minutes. The stage is yours.
Thank you, Bu. Thank you, Bu Maya, for giving me time for sharing. Good morning, everybody. Referring what the keynote speech point out, especially regarding the we not just talk, but we must walk the talk about how we implement the NDC. In this time, PLN, we would like to share to you what we have done until now regarding the NDC achievement, especially for achieving NDC in 2030. Based on our plates, maybe there is a presentation that could be shared.
Operator, could you please?
Okay, still waiting for the presentation. I think based on our background, that our government and also PLN has been signed the Paris pledge that we must achieve around 29% of reducing the emission and enhancing become 31.89. It's mean around 900 million ton will be achieved for reducing the target. And based on this target, the energy sector must reduce around 358 million ton CO2 equivalent. It means this is the second largest. Now in PLN, based on this target, PLN has a target around 127 million ton. It's including how we develop the renewable energy and how we do the co-firing and also how we implementing the technology, especially for coal that efficient, more efficient. Based on this, we have been planned for RUPTL 2021-2030 that we want to build around 21 gigawatt renewables. Now we're reviewing this, and now we plan for the new accelerated renewable energy development that built in the end of 2060 is become 480 gigawatt of renewables, and it costly around 700 billion. And this also including still maintaining around 19 gigawatt coal and gas with the CCUS. And we want to report what we achieved now. Until now, we have achieved around 39 million ton emission reduction through the implementation of this key initiative. We have a key initiative. One is renewable energy development. Now we have commission around 1 gigawatt and under construction around 3 gigawatt, and still plan and also development is around 17 gigawatt. In the case of the second initiative is biomass co-firing. We have do some co-firing piloting in 43 coal power plant. And also we do some improvement in loss, improvement in grid. We do reducing around 0.9% of the total transmission losses and also the distribution losses. Another is implementing the clean coal technology. In the clean coal technology, we have been implement and operate for another 5 gigawatt of more efficient coal technology. And also for expansion, the CCGT is 0.5 gigawatt of the expansion. In the case of short-term and long-term targeting, these 5 initiative in the short term. Oh, lebih dekat ya, oke. Well, because it's a very, we will, in the short term, we will build around 21 gigawatt of renewables. And in case of co-firing, now we plan for 52, that now has been achieved around 43, that has been explained before. It's just only 8 or 9% of biomass co-firing. It will be upgrading to 30% in 2060. In the case of energy efficiency, we also have targeting 1.4 that has been achieved around 0.9. And we hope this also increasing in beyond 2030. And another is we also implementing 2.7 gigawatt more efficient coal technology, and now has been achieving. And for 6.7 gigawatt combined cycle is now has been achieved around 2 gigawatt. For the long-term one, we want to implementing also the hydrogen co-firing and also CCS and the new technology of maybe nuclear power plant in the future. If we see in the case of implementing the renewables, this is one of example that we make a operation for hydropower Poso Pickers in 2022, and also Ranto Dadap for geothermal, and the last is the floating Cirata. That's become the third biggest floating power plant in the world. In the case of co-firing that has been explained before, that we built 43 from 50 to the target, is reducing around 1.5 million ton per year, and also need some supporting around 1.5 what we call it is supply. And it could be, there is a lot of opportunity that still need to build the feedstock. We think that we need around 8 million ton till 10 million ton in the next 10 years. And we also do regarding the carbon capture that we as you will see that we also plan in the future maybe still maintaining around 19 gigawatt coal and gas. In 14 gigawatt coal, we have make some piloting project in 3 locations. One location is in Suralaya, 4.400 megawatt and 3.600 megawatt, together with the Korean carbon, and also another location in Indramayu, 3.300 megawatt with the impact, and also Zera in PLN Tanjung Jati B. We hope this pilot project, it will be make some experience to us and give us some also knowledge what kind of challenge that will be facing in the future. Another is PLN also the pioneer of establishing a supply chain for hydrogen now. We have starting scale up the green hydrogen in Indonesia. We have a plan in every power plant that bigger than 100 megawatt. And now we have producing around 200 ton per year. And because of the internal utilization only 75 ton per year, we still have around 122 ton per year that could be used to become another, like hydrogen co-firing or maybe for hydrogen car. And we now starting to implementing this to another utilization. Another that we achieve now is regarding the carbon market. we have built the application. We call it the PLN Climate Click. This application is make it possible we are do internal transaction, especially between our coal power plant. We have around 55 coal power plant, and we do some transaction between them based on regulation that's the same in Apple Gatric. Another is we also join the Apple Gatric system, that there is the transaction between the PLN power plant, the 55 PLN power plant with the 44 the IPP power plant. This based on mandatory carbon transaction, then based on a cap in every power plant. And we also has been joined with the carbon market with one of our power plant is a PL2 PLPGU Marakarang is combined cycle 1. And also another we supporting and preparing also including sustainability in our corporate vision and also corporate operation. We have settled ESG policy and also the framework and also ESG performance enhancement. Now we also have achieved some improvement regarding the ESG rating. We have achieved and make an improvement from 36 rating to become 30. And maybe in the next year we will be make it more better and become the medium risk rating. And another, we also have some improvement regarding ESG performance enhancement. We make it a dashboard, also some breakthrough, and also we make a deployment of the target and KPI to all of our units. And we try also to implement all of the ESG standard in our system based on TCFD, ISO, CDP, and all. That's what we want to share to you, what PLN achieved until now regarding achieving the target of the NDC in 2030. Thank you very much for your
Thank you very much, Pak Haryadi. Very interesting. You have provided an update on PLN's efforts to decarbonization. We will keep the Q&A sessions after all the speakers have presented their presentations. Now, please allow me to invite Mr. Oki Muraza, Senior Vice President of Research and Technology Innovation, PT Pertamina Persero. He will present the Pertamina leadership towards net zero emissions 2060. Pak Oki, the time is yours.
Thank you, Bu Maya. Very good morning, ladies and gentlemen, all speakers, Pak Haryadi, Dimitri, and also we just have Bu Nani and also Bu Ami. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming to this very interesting sessions. So in the next 10 minutes, I'm trying to highlight some of our activities in order to have the strong commitment and also strong contributions to the NDC, National Determined Contributions, in order to reach the net zero in 2060 or sooner. Ladies and gentlemen, first we should start with the problems that we have. Basically, all nations are facing these problems, the energy trilemma, in which that we need to secure the energy enough for Indonesia. We have now about 270 million populations, and of course we need to have enough supply of energy. And we need to see that there are a lot of opportunities in order to fill that gap for the energy. And then the second problem that we have, basically affordability. So basically in order to have the affordability, we need to have indigenous resources that we have in Indonesia. So within my presentation, with the limitation that we have, I'm going to highlight mostly on bioenergy and geothermal. And then the third one is, of course, the sustainability. Sustainability is very important. We are in COP28 now. So basically, I'm going to highlight some of our activities in order to achieve the sustainability in energy sectors, especially in oil and gas business. In the next slide, basically, we can see that so far, Pertamina is ranked as one of the best company, integrated oil and gas company, thanks to the presence of geothermal. We are now in the second rank in terms of integrated energy company, oil and gas company. And the ratings is basically very good, 22. And how did we achieve that? Basically, through several strategies, yeah. As we can see on this slide, that the first one is the flare minimizations. We need to reduce the flaring. We need to capture the methane. And then energy efficiency, this is also very important. We need to find a lot of ways basically to reduce the loss of energy, and then switching to lower carbon. Yeah, this is what we call as lower emission fuels. And then, of course, we have a number of initiatives which will be elaborated later. Yeah, this is a bit about the scenario that we are going to have. Yeah, we have the ordinary state, business as usual, or we may have more or appropriate sustainability. In this case, we expect that the volume of gas in Indonesia will be increased because gas is considered as the bridge in the energy transitions. And then on the right side, basically an economic renaissance, in which that we expect that the technology for green business already available, yeah, in terms of green hydrogens, etc., etc. Now, this is a bit busy slides, but basically we have 3 blocks in which that we are trying to reduce the emissions. We are doing decarbonizations to our current business, including energy efficiency, flare minimizations, etc., etc. And then we are having low carbon business. One of the strongest examples is the geothermal and biofuels, including EV ecosystems. And then as also presented by Pak Haryadi and also by Bu Ami and Bu Nani, basically we start to learn about the carbon offset ecosystems, yeah. And then, yeah, now how can we reduce the emission from current business that we have? Basically now we are having almost 20 initiatives, and 3 of them are quite big in terms of storage. So we have now potentially 3 hubs in Indonesia. 1 hub in Sumatra, and then the second hub is in West Java, offshore West Java, and then the other hub is in Kalimantan. Yeah, potentially we can reach gigaton of storage from the hub itself. And of course, before we can implement the hub, we are doing a lot of exercises, including CO2 injection for increasing oil production by emphasis on the U, on the CCUS. Yeah, fuels is also very important. As we know that mostly in Indonesia, the infrastructure is ready for fuels. So we are trying to do our best in order to reduce the emissions from our fuels, yeah, including the presence of green refinery phase 1, and then soon we are going to have phase 2, yeah, in which that we can start producing green diesel and SAF, sustainable aviation fuels. Next slide, please. Yeah, this is a very important slide. Basically, as we know that the emissions is coming from different sectors, yeah, from power generation, from industry, and from transportations. Yeah. For transportations, Pertamina have implemented a number of initiatives, yeah, including the biodiesel, fatty acid methyl esters. Now the blending is about 35%, with the deployment about 13 million ton of biodiesel per year. Yeah. And then we started with bioethanol. Yeah. This is started with 2 cities in Indonesia, Surabaya and Jakarta. And then we have a number of initiatives on green diesels, SAF, etc. Yeah. So basically, by emphasizing on the opportunities that we have in the fuel sectors, hopefully we can reduce the emissions, especially scope 3 emissions. Yeah, this is to be specific on the biodiesel. Yeah, we are the largest nation on earth now which implement biodiesel. Now it's reaching 35% with about 13 million ton of biodiesel per year. And of course, this is one of the best way in order to reduce the emissions. At least 28 million ton of CO2 can be mitigated just by the biodiesel program. And of course, we are not satisfied only with biodiesel. Now we are moving to bioethanol, hopefully by widening the availability of the feedstock from not only from molasses, but also to other feedstock. Recently in Mandalika, in Lombok, last week, we tried to have bioethanol from sorghum waste. Yeah. As you know that Indonesia now is trying to strengthen the food security. Sorghum is planted everywhere. Next year, we are going to have bioethanol from one of the mangroves. Yeah? Indonesia is blessed with about 50 types of mangroves, and one of them is Nipah fruticans. Nipah fruticans in one of the popular mangroves in Indonesia. Basically from the stem, we can also get glucose, in which that can be converted to bioethanol. Then the other strength of Indonesia is basically the geothermal. Yeah? The bioenergy is because of the tropical locations. The geothermal because of the ring of fire. And at this moment, we just utilize less than 10%. Yeah. So we have ambitions that by in the next coming years, we are going to add about 340 megawatt, yeah, in which that we are going to exceed 1 gigawatt from geothermal. Then the last point, basically, once we establish bigger capacity in geothermal, there will be award in terms of opportunities to produce hydrogen. Yeah. At this moment, Pertamina is producing hydrogen, gray hydrogen from steam methane reforming, almost 200,000 ton per year, which is used for our refinery. And hopefully, by having more capacity on geothermal, we are going to have more hydrogen productions, green hydrogens, yeah, echoing also what already presented by Pak Haryadi. So I think these are some of the initiatives, mostly around bioenergy, and then secondly about geothermal plus hydrogens. Due to the time, I did not highlight some other initiatives, which is also very important, which is natural-based solution. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Pak Oki, for sharing the presentations. I think Pertamina is one of the biggest companies in Indonesia, plays a very important role on the decarbonization. I think we have some follow-up questions on the bioenergy and geothermal, I think, because it's going to be a very interesting topic. Okay, next, please allow me to invite Mr. Demetrios Papatanasiou. He is the Global Director of World Bank's Energy and Extractives Global Practice. He will share about the international community effort to support Indonesia decarbonization journey. Pak Demetrio, the time is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Maya, and good morning to everyone. It really is a pleasure and an honor to be here, and thanks to PLN for the invitation. And it's really very good to be between Pertamina and PLN, who are the key companies for making progress with climate change in Indonesia. And the World Bank has, of course, a long history working with both of them, and I hope that as we go forward, we will do even more. I will go quickly through my slides because some of the things have been discussed, but let me start by explaining why Indonesia is so important for the global community and how it is important for the World Bank itself. So it is one of the world's most populous countries. It is a top 20 economy and growing fast. And we have our largest portfolio among the countries of the World Bank in Eastern Asia Pacific. It is in Indonesia. So it is extremely important as we go ahead. Now, emissions are growing. Indonesia, as you all know, is quite dependent on fossil fuels for their production. Coal is really important in the power sector. About 3 out of 5 units installed are coal. And there are good reasons why this has been the case so far, mainly the fact that Indonesia has plenty of coal. In fact, it is one of the most important exporters of coal. So trying to make this adjustment is going to be a challenge. And nevertheless, the great opportunity is that as we go forward, Indonesia can really make an example of how the transition can happen at the global level. Now, you will have heard that in this COP28, the world is trying to commit to triple renewable energy by 2030. And if you look at the plans that already are done by Indonesia, by PLN and others, it is more than tripling renewable energy. Now, this is an important challenge. And what is fascinating in the way that we looked at the projections in that by 2050, over 90% of the energy of Indonesia is planned to be clean energy. And this is going to be very challenging, but it is also a fantastic opportunity for the country to diversify and do well economically as well. So, big challenge and great opportunities. So, what is it that needs to happen for this to accelerate and keep on going forward? First of all, let me start by the fact that we believe that the industrial development of Indonesia is critical, and it needs to be done in a way that will support the massive investments in the energy sector. Now, Indonesia has rules about local content on everything that is happening in the sector and in the way that things are procured. And we respect that, but it is important to recognize that these local content rules need to be adopted in a way so that the benefits of lower renewable energy prices that we see around the world can come to Indonesia as well. To give you an example, it is possible today to buy solar panels for 20 cents per watt. In some cases, even lower than that. And the reason this is happening is because this is a very actively competitive market globally, and it is important that increasingly investments come for solar in Indonesia, but also for the targets to be achieved, Indonesia needs to become very quickly very competitive on solar production. This is a challenge, but it has to happen because otherwise you will not get affordable electricity for a growing economy. So this is one of the major things that need to be sorted out. Now, on the transmission, PLN has been doing a great job so far in expanding transmission, but much more needs to be done. And this much more needs much more investments, and it needs much more capacity. I was in Indonesia about 4 weeks ago. We had a very good conversation with PLN and with the Ministry of Energy. And they have been asking the World Bank on how can we think on doing public-private partnerships for transmission. So it is important that PLN maintains its role in doing the good work that they have been doing for the power sector of Indonesia, but the needs for investments, the needs for additional capacity is something that needs to move forward. And we will continue to work with Indonesia on that front. The PLN financial sustainability is most important because of the investments that are coming. And we also feel that there needs to be more openness in the way that PLN is financing, but also the way the whole sector can allow more private investment to come in. Now, I will stay a little bit in this slide. We issued a report about 7 months ago, which we call Scaling Up to Phase Down. And the argument that we made in this report is that, especially for countries where the World Bank works, and Indonesia is a good example of that, demand is growing very fast, it is important that we maintain affordability of power supply. So we feel that before we can start talking about phasing down coal and phasing down fossil fuels, it really is important that we scale up very substantially alternative, sustainable, and affordable and reliable clean energy. And the way this can happen is by starting with a government commitment, which is the top of the circle, putting in place the regulatory and policy environment for clean energy, strengthening institutions that will have a responsibility for preparing what we call a pipeline of bankable projects. And if you notice, this private capital starts coming in there. And on the side of the World Bank, what we have been advocating and what is the best practice around the world is to hold auctions for clean energy. Whenever this happens, we see that prices keep on coming down. And when we have transparent competitive procedures, we can then bring a lot of our risk mitigation instruments, our guarantees, and other technically feasible options that we have to bring in financing. This usually yields very affordable, clean energy, and that gives even further ambition to government, and then the circle starts again. So in all of these places, the World Bank, along with our partners, has various activities. On the policy side, of course, with the JETP, and investments and technical assistance and good cooperation with PLN. Now, in the activities that we are continuing to support, we focus on scaling up on clean energy. On phasing down coal, we're working on understanding what are the socioeconomic impacts of doing that over time. And we continue to believe that we have to reinforce the sustainability of PLN and the whole sector. So the next slide, please, shows all the projects and the engagements that we have in Indonesia right now. And it goes from policy support to preparing guarantees and projects, all the way to working with PLN on the first large-scale pumped hydro project, which is 1,000 megawatts. So the next slide is my last one, and this is how we have been working with other partners, with the Asian Development Bank, International Energy Agency, and UNDP. We have been agreed to mobilize $500 million of climate financing to help with the JETP, and we're of course coordinating with other important donors for Indonesia's JETP. Let me conclude by saying that the whole world is really looking at Indonesia and trying to assist Indonesia with accelerating the climate transition. It is eminently feasible. Indonesia is growing fast. People want to invest in Indonesia. And from our perspective, we're very optimistic about the potential for change. We're working hand in hand with PLN on this, and we're looking forward to do even more. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Dimitri, for sharing the international support for the decarbonization, because we believe that we will not be able to do this alone. So now that all the speakers have presented their presentations, now I would like to start the discussion session. Let me kick it off with Pak Haryadi. You mentioned about the renewable energy in PLN and how they are very critical to ensure that the NDC target is met. Based on your experience, Pak Haryadi, what are the main challenges to ensure that the renewable energy development can be accelerated?
Thank you, Bu Maya. I think when we talk about the renewables, it could be there is two kinds of renewables. One is the base loaders renewables, and also the VRA renewables. For the base loader renewables, mostly is hydro and geothermal. When we talk about hydro and the geothermal, this could be there is some challenge, especially for the reservoir hydro, because the reservoir hydro need a lot of land, especially for a dam, and also always there is some issue regarding the environment, and also the geothermal sometimes located in the protected area. It could be there is some issue regarding the permits. That's the first one. The second one is also there is some supply and demand mismatch because mostly the hydro and the geothermal located far from the demand. And because of some issue regarding the empowerment and also regarding the what we call risk, especially in geothermal drilling, the bankability is low now, and this is maybe also the challenge. That the challenge of for baseload renewables. Another is VRA. VRA intermittency. In the case of intermittency, when we implementing this to the power system, now when we operate the power system, we just only thinking about the forecasting of demand. But now because of the intermittency, we also needed some method how we forecast the supply. And this become make more challenging for the power system operators. Another is also we must make some additional cost regarding the balancing power because the error of the forecasting and also the backup power of the intermittency. Another challenge is regarding the now we facing the issue of the local content because now the target of local content near 60%, but the local industry is just only 40 or 45%. That's the challenge. But how we try to solve this kind of problem, we have been planned the accelerated renewables development. We plan for building the green enabling transmission line to harnessing the hydro and the geothermal power and discussing with the government how the permit issue could be solved in the futures. And regarding also the financing one, we also discussing with the Ministry of Finance how we build the country platform base to get some supporting to make it more reliable financing for hydro and also the geothermal. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Pak Haryadi. I think this is very interesting because you touch how hydro and geothermal is very important as a base loader for the energy transition in Indonesia. And I think it's also correlated with what Pak Dimitri mentioned about how the local content is actually a challenge in implementing the renewable energy in Indonesia. I think I will go to Pak Ogi first. Maybe you can also share about how on the geothermal side, Pak Ogi, how do you think that we can accelerate the development of the geothermal from Pertamina's point of view?
Yeah, thank you, Bu Maya. So I'm trying to echo some of the points already mentioned by Pak Haryadi. Yeah? So first of all, basically, for geothermal, we need to fix a few things on the demand side and also a few things on the supply side. So on the demand side, I think it is important, like Pak Haryadi mentions, how can we connect the supply to demand in Indonesia. Like for instance, in Sumatra, right? So basically, toward the west, we have a lot of geothermals. And we have the customers basically toward the east. We have our Rokan is there, etc., etc. So it is good idea, Pak Haryadi, maybe to think in the future to collaborate. How can we supply the geothermal from the west side to the east side? So that's one thing about the demand side. And then the second thing is related to technology because the geothermal requires certain capex, yeah, at least about 8 years to develop. So we need to have basically incentive to the risk or to reduce the risk of investments and also kind of incentives basically in order to help basically energy company to grow further in geothermal. And then, of course, the third one is, this is related to Dimitri, the diversification of the financial source. Of course, it is, we need to think about better access to the finance and with the cheaper cost of capital for the geothermal projects. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Pak Oke. I think that's really clear on how we really need to accelerate the development of renewable energy. And you also mentioned something about financing support from the international to ensure that this will be able to be implemented. So I think I'll give the spotlight to you now, Pak Dimitri, because you, as part of the World Bank, plays very important roles in how to finance the projects in Indonesia. Especially, Pak Oke also mentioned about the word de-risking. So maybe you can touch about that, and also on how, what do you think about the regulatory framework or policy that needs to be changed or improved to accelerate the energy transition?
Thank you again. I think we talked a little bit about the local content and how Indonesia can attract investment that will make solar energy cheaper, and down the road, the production of wind energy cheaper. I think, and this is a kind of industrial policy adjustments that need to be made. And my sense is that there are good conversations taking place in the government side about how to get more investments to Indonesia on the production side. Because of course, what Indonesia has, and it's very unique, it is a lot of the critical metals and minerals that are important for the energy transition. So how it can actually move from raw material, beneficiating metals, and then moving all the way to production of all the devices that we need for the energy transition is a great opportunity for the country. So I think in terms of industrial policies, one big change that needs to be made. And then when it comes to PLN itself, PLN has done a great job so far, and it needs to do much, much more. So I think how gradually PLN begins to open the sector in more private participation in a way that works from a jurisdictional perspective, and in a way that it is really a win-win situation, both for PLN and in the energy sector in general. These are the kind of regulations that need to be to come in place so that you can really see the flows of capital coming in. And once we have a certainty that there is openness on that, as long as we manage to maintain low cost of clean energy installed, that will allow the financial sustainability of the company to remain strong. And frankly, when it comes to risk mitigation, this is the most important risk mitigation factor, that PLN needs to remain financially strong and viable. It is a company that is one of the major companies in the world. A lot of banks are willing to lend to PLN, and PLN, in fact, is in a good negotiating position. Everything is growing, and it is important that they maintain this stability. There are things that can be done on the way subsidies are conveyed in the country. This can be improved. And my sense is that all of these things, as they happen in parallel, can put in place the foundations for the energy transition in Indonesia as well.
Thank you very much, Pak Dimitri, for adding some insights on that. I think because of the limited time, unfortunately, that we have to close our sessions for today.